The topic for today is I'm gonna do a short section on the three the problem that we have with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in Suriname is that we haven't really talked about crypto in Suriname. We haven't even had the discussion like on a mainstream level in Suriname. We still don't know what cryptocurrency is. We don't know what blockchain technology is. We just have no clue. And the main reason for that is that the three biggest crypto promotions in Suriname for the past years have actually not been real crypto promotions. They have been promotions for MLMs. And when I say MLM, I mean multi level marketing. Um, it's closely connected to scamming, but I'm going to differentiate between MLMs and scams. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a fine line, and I think the scammers take advantage of that to legally loophole themselves into the system in a way where possible before they cross the line.
Yeah. So, okay. So just to clarify, the scam is very clear. A scam is a concept where it's several people or people actually scam other people out of money. And a multi level marketing is actually a concept where the concept is that you have to bring more people in and connect with others. So multi-level marketing, basically the idea is you're marketing a certain product, and then when you bring in others, you benefit from that as well, and they benefit from that, and they bring in others, and then it just adds up. And now it sounds, when you hear multi-level marketing explained, you immediately start thinking of pyramid scheme, but it doesn't have to be. I think the biggest difference between an MLM and a scam is that within an MLM you could actually have value. So there could be a product that is of value, and if the product has enough value, people won't mind it being a networking thing, because they have actually value for the product that they're getting. The biggest problems with most MLMs actually is that they don't offer value. So, one of the questions that Gregory asked is, how do you spot the difference between a scam crypto and a legit crypto? I think we're gonna get into that. Definitely, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Um, so yeah, it's closely connected. Most people can tell apart MLM and a scam. I have a hard time doing that as well, and especially the next OneCoin making its way through Suriname to the name that coin. So Gregory, my compliments of the three MLMs that I'm going to discuss. You've mentioned two in one sentence. I mean, that's amazing. So it's very clear what we're going to discuss here. And the biggest problem with crypto, as Joel is saying, is the lack of efficient ability to withdraw locally, essentially making it a way for, yeah, okay. So it's a one-way financial investment for luxury. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this a lot. I think we should definitely also ask Maya to be a guest, or somebody from ROX to be a guest on the show this year. But let's quickly go into, like, okay, how do you differentiate between actual cryptocurrencies and the so-called fake cryptocurrencies? I mean, the easiest way to start out is the technology. Like when we speak about mining, like, people think like mining is just simple. I put on my computer and I mine a bit. Like, if you want to do mining with a regular computer, I think you had a mining setup, Diego, a Ethereum mining
Yeah,
setup
yeah.
once. So can you explain to people, just tell them how expensive it was to set up that rig?
So, for the computer nerds among us, you all know, and the gaming people, getting a NVIDIA GeForce 1070 about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, um, I think was a new one was maybe around $400 one. And because there was a shortage, the prices got inflated a lot. People selling it on eBay for 2 times, 3 times the markup price. So imagine having for one mine setup. So that means you got one motherboard, and usually in a normal PC you'll just have one graphics card to work with, but you add six graphics card to this. So multiply all those electronic components just to have one uh, mining PC, and then you calculate the return on the investment because that's variable as well. Because it fluctuates because depending on how many people are in the network. I know it's a bit technical now, but yeah, if you want to delve into this, invest in it, you need to first try to understand how it works. Don't go into anything that you remote have zero clue. At least have some level of knowledge. Me myself, I'm not an expert on how the intricacies of the blockchain are, but I have a general understanding of what's going on. And the miners were more for verifying the transaction on the system to validate that everything is in order and that no one's trying to manipulate the system. So I was kind of contributing to that system with the graphics cards that I had. Um,
I think
yeah,
you just said it. I mean, come on. I mean, the amount of expertise and the amount of money you need to actually set up a mining rig to know what you're doing. But then you get to a very important thing because you said something which is very close to proof of stake. And the proof of stake is basically verifying that there are actually transactions, Bitcoin, let me say blockchain transactions going through your system. And that actually kind of validates that you're actually using blockchain technology. So where the scams immediately come in is like the easiest way to find a scammer is okay. Miguel said it here, so I'm going to use this one. So way easy. The easiest trick in the book is go to CoinMarketCap, go into CoinGecko, go to any listing on websites that have listings of cryptocurrencies, and if the cryptocurrency that the person is talking to you about isn't on it, it's not
that's a red
a
flag.
cryptocurrency. It's a red flag. I'm not saying it couldn't be, but it's a red flag. You should at least hear from them, like when they want it to be listed, what platforms are they going to be listed on. And I know there's some contradiction in this because for cryptocurrency, the whole idea about decentralization and
Mhm.
cryptocurrency is not to actually put those things on an exchange, but go from wallet to wallet. But let's be honest here, they're traders, and that goes into the next question by Hedwig. Should you do crypto for the long haul or day trading? I don't day trade. I don't do forex. I don't know about you, Diego. Do you day trade or do forex?
I tried it, lost money. So
Yeah,
try your hand at it. If it's for you, great. If it's not for you, feel the pain and then move on.
yeah,
But just to follow up on what Hedwig says, if you're interested in making or earning money through investing or trading or short term, long term, it is something you have to honestly look yourself in the mirror and will you be able to commit to it. It is as any other endeavor. As a creator create
yes,
stuff, it is time and commitment and hard work that you will need to put into it. If you hear something, 10% returns per week, blah blah blah, and uh, that's another red flag. If you're talking about red flags and scamming, if it
yeah.
was that easy, everyone would be rich. And come on, the 95% of people that go into these things end up poorer than when they started.
I think that's a very interesting thing that you said there. Most people end up poor, especially with day trading. It's a job, yes, Hedwig, it's a job. It's very much a job and also education. And I think what Joel says will jump into what I'm going to do because I'm going to go on a 5 minute rant in just about a second. Crypto red flags. Someone has to invite you. You can't get it on your own. The token, the coin, is it in a single cryptocurrency exchange? The token has to be frozen for a certain time before you can do anything with it. Yes, these are all major red flags. Then I quickly want to point out that Theo also jumps in to why these kind of multi-level marketings
Mm.
and some of them are schemes. Why are these MLMs so very popular? It's because of the fish these yeah biggest problem is decent financial services. That's true. Look at the different scam currencies in our own banks. We literally have banks here differentiating cash money and cashless money. I won't go into that. I will go into, and I'm not going to say what bank, but I know there are actually people that are advisors for banks that are into certain MLMs, which is very uh, worrisome, to be honest.
Controversial.
Yeah, it's very okay. So let's get quickly into the three crypto MLMs that are most have been most popular in the last 3 years. So the first one is easy. That's OneCoin, and OneCoin was really big. I mean, there was an office, a OneCoin office. There was a car driving around with one life on it. Um, there were housing projects being built around OneCoin. It was amazing how far and how and that's the thing about these things. A lot of these things, and I'm talking about most online MLMs, a lot of people just go all out on them. And yeah, OneCoin, in the beginning there was a way to actually cash out your OneCoin, and that's also another thing. As soon as you hear somebody talking about educational packages and then connecting it to crypto, just know that you're in it for the educational packages. You're gonna learn that. That's the insight. If you're learning educational packages about crypto and you're paying for it, and people are saying, yes, this is crypto, but you can't actually exchange it, there's no exchange, it's not a real crypto. So I think that's very important to understand. If somebody tells you like, yeah, the whole philosophy behind it is that you can't trade it with other coins, that's like, okay, but how are you going to cash out? That's the most important thing. You should always be able to cash out, even have to take your coins from one exchange, which is like Yobi or like a really on the other side of the spectrum exchange, but at least there you can exchange it for another currency that you can then bring to like a Binance or a Kraken or a Coinbase, and from there you can bring it into fiat, which is euros or USD, and from there you can do it. Even if you have to do like 4 steps to get your money, as long as you can get your money back immediately within a day, for me it's fine. I mean, you want to dabble around it, you want to try it. I think the main thing is always don't invest money you can't afford to lose. That's a very very important thing. But that's already, if you can't get your money, that's already a big problem. So what actually happened with OneCoin, you were able to cash out, but you were only able to cash out if you didn't have the lowest tier. So you had to invest more than just the basic investment to be able to cash out. Then all of a sudden they took it down for maintenance purposes, and then it reappeared 2 weeks later, but all the transactions that were pending didn't go through. And then eventually, I think right around the time that crypto really started to blow up, actually OneCoin, all of a sudden you couldn't cash out. And there are like people in Suriname who have a lot of OneCoin and have tried cashing it out. Then they came with Deal Shaker, which was a website, yeah, in which you OneCoin you can get deals and good stuff. And there's actually I think 2 or 3 years ago, somebody told a story like, yeah, I have a lot of OneCoin. I went to Deal Shaker. I tried to purchase stuff that was way more expensive than I would pay for it locally, and I still wasn't able to cash out my OneCoin. So that's very very difficult. And then what Joel of course mentioned, Rajiv is saying, it's not funny. It's funny, but it's just hard. If there are ranks to it, if they have all kind of fancy names and titles for it, that's also a different red flag. I mean, um, and that's also a hard part. You can't really talk about decentralized when there is actually an institution that's giving away those ranks. I mean, like, what? I mean, you could gamify. I mean, you could gamify blockchain technology. That's actually fun, but you do have to know that the person that gamifies it isn't actually the owner of the cryptocurrency. It's just somebody having around fun with development. So there's a big difference between that. If somebody gives you titles, that basically means that's a centralized institution, which means it isn't decentralized. And the whole concept of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is actually decentralization. And that's also a very different topic that we'll get into another time. So basically, OneCoin went from this semi because you were able to cash out to completely unable to cash out. Still, for years, people have tried to get other people in. A lot of thousands, tens of thousands Surinamese people got into OneCoin, and now they're stuck with their OneCoin. And of course, there's kind of a shame culture in Suriname. So people won't openly say that they own one coin or they own one. But there are a lot of people in Suriname that actually have one. And it's funny because before OneCoin, the most famous MLM, which wasn't crypto related, but the most famous MLM
Coffee,
was Oregano Gold.
organic, yeah,
And
coffee.
that's also another MLM issue that I have is like, if the product is good, I don't mind the MLM. But once you're gonna promote, I don't drink coffee, so quick disclaimer. But if you're gonna promote Oregano Gold, and you can't convince me that the coffee is even better than Nescafe or another brand, then that's already a red flag as well. You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, this awesome. We had it with Tupperware. I think we also had it with Aloe Vera when I was studying. I think Aloe
Yeah,
Vera was kind of big
those were
MLMs for
the
Aloe Vera. So there, yeah, I mean, at least we had free coffee samples. But yeah, I think we have to be honest about the coffee samples. I mean, were
it
they
wasn't
that
that bad
good?
actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't drink coffee, so
me
to be
neither,
honest,
but
I don't know. But okay, so that's OneCoin, and I mean, we don't have to talk a lot about OneCoin anymore. We all know the current situation. The owner or the founder is a fugitive. A lot
w-
of
w-
other people at the top have actually been arrested. You
yeah,
wanted to
what
add
I like
something?
to
Yeah,
add before we move on to the next
yeah.
one, to OneCoin, is they actually utilize that that you were able to cash out was incentivizing the lower tier to go at it harder, basically.
Yeah, but that's always how they do. So
Yeah,
yeah, Rajiv, it's wait. My cousin almost persuaded my mom to buy. I mean, so many people persuaded others to buy Organo Gold. I mean, it was a very big thing at the time. It's not anymore because it has had played out, and that's the thing about MLMs. Uh, MLMs work until the point that everybody's in, and there are no new people you can get in, and that's kind of where it stops.
yep.
So Aloe Vera is still happening, yes, Rajiv, but that's the whole point. I think the reason why aloe vera is still happening is because the product has some value. I mean, they're aloe vera products. They're just a little bit more expensive than regular aloe vera products. Same with the Tupperware. I mean, you could still do it, but and that's why it's an MLM, and that's why I wouldn't say scam because scam is really scamming people out of their money. And with crypto, I mean, with aloe vera, with Organo Gold, with Tupperware, people actually got a physical product. So you can really, yeah, they're scamming out of their money, and but they didn't lose everything. They got actually something in return. But in the case of one coin, you don't have any value for the coin at the moment. So that's the first one. And yeah, MLMs are never actually sustainable. The only way an MLM is sustainable if the people on top reinvest the money again. But yeah, we know how that happens, how that ends. So the second one is Omnia, and I think Omnia is a little different. And I'm not even gonna call Omnia a full out scam, but it's not around anymore. So what happened with Omnia was that Omnia was basically saying, you don't have to do the mining rig. We'll set up the mining rig for you, and you just pay a certain amount, and we mine your crypto for you, which is somebody already said one of the red flags is you don't actually own it. Well, in that case, you don't own the rigs. And what happened when the price went down and down and down, and all of a sudden was it below 4,000 US? Of course, the payouts weren't connected to the fluctuation of the price. So at a certain point, Omnia couldn't pay the people anymore that put in the money, aside from, yeah, also it being an MLM and everybody who was in was already in. So at a certain point, it just started combusting. Omnia explained that it was due to the low Bitcoin price, that mining wasn't actually profitable, and they tried to convince people to be in it for the long haul, get 25% off on 2 year contracts. And most people were like, yeah, but I mean, we paid for this, so we want our promise, what you promised us. And then they did a very classy exit in the sense that I think uh, from a legal perspective, they're somewhat, well, they appear to be in the clear, but the website is gone, and I'm not sure if people got their money back. And I think that's also a danger that it was really promoted in Suriname. Like people go on and you don't have to mind, but again, buy package. And again, there are people that made a lot of money off this. I think the people, that's also the thing with MLMs, it's never sustainable in the long run, but the people who jump in first and get the most people in first, they profit the most, they gain the most, and they get their money out of it, and even five folds or ten folds out of their money out of it. Yeah,
And what I like to add to that is, especially they were OneCoin and Omnia both. They were riding the mainstream waves because it was 2017, 2018 when was the last huge crypto wave when all the Bitcoin prices spiked to almost 20K, and they're leveraging that actually to promote their services. Let's call it services.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, wallet. You don't know what's gonna happen after. If you don't, it's basically saying, yeah, give me some of your money.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for you.
Yeah,
Don't worry. Well, it's gonna be huge rewards, massive rewards, and you just are. We give you an educational package. We'll get to that one. The third one. Okay, quickly. Wallet. Wallet is not. It is an MLM, but it's not crypto related. So we're gonna skip that one for today. We're definitely gonna. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's very clear. And when you look at wallet, you have Blessing Loom in Nigeria. It's the same thing. We're not gonna get into it. That's just clear out. That's a scam because there's no offering in return. And like I ask people, like, where do you think the money comes from? Like,
mm,
if you know understand basic economics, you understand that wallet doesn't work.
yeah. I
If you
didn't
just
really
understand basic
follow the
economics,
developments,
so
but it's really dumbified. It's really simple, and I can't fathom how people fall for that.
I think it's one is greed. The other thing that's mentioned is the financial services. Somebody already mentioned it in the chat. The lack of opportunity, and at a certain point, you do have to understand that the wallet craze really jumped when we were in the full
Yeah,
lockdown,
the crisis.
and even the casinos and the Suribet offices were closed. So people who would usually go to a casino or to a Suribet office to wager their money, they needed something, so I can't blame them. I mean, like, it is like, okay, I want to, I want
Gamble.
to, gamble a bit, so let's gamble. I mean, what do I have to lose? I was gonna use this money on gambling anyway. So from that perspective, I'm gonna respectfully say I understand. I'm not even mad for that part. What I'm mad at is the fact that the only way you can look at wallet and think this is gonna work is when you're extremely, extremely in it for yourself, and you're not even thinking about it from a bigger perspective, because that's also something that you have to understand. If you look from it from a different perspective, you know that people are going to lose money from wallet. And that's also another thing when you step into these multi-level marketings. um, you should always ask yourself, if I'm going to convince others to jump in, what's going to happen when they lose money? I think that's the most important thing. We tend to forget that. It's like, yeah, jump in, jump in. I mean, I feel guilty for getting people on Ethergotchi. Ethergotchi was like this game where you could have your own Tamagotchi, and I got people in for egg. And most of the people didn't even do anything with it. I should ask Nigel what he actually did if he managed to sell, because Nigel had a really cool egg. But the only problem with it, the gas fees were so freaking high that I'm not sure if he cashed it out. But I did cash out my Ethergotchi money, because it was possible to cash out. So you wouldn't be able to cash out for the greatest rate all the time, but you were able to cash out. And I ended up cashing out for some Ethereum. I'm not sure. I think I exchanged it for Bitcoin Satoshi version, Bitcoin Cash Satoshi version. So I might have that still around. So I probably have still 20 US dollars around there, somewhere from that game. But even I felt guilty for that. I asked people to jump in, because most people just jumped in for the email address and that was it. But I decided I'm not doing that anymore. Which gets us to the third one, which is Dagcoin. And Dagcoin isn't being promoted necessarily as a crypto. It's also promoted as educational packages through Success Factory. And I asked people when I first saw the promotional items, I asked the person, like, have you researched this properly? Because I saw clear correlations to OneCoin. And then when you do a little bit of research and you find out one of the top people from OneCoin actually jumped and created his own thing. And what he did was pretty smart from a business perspective. He took out the things of OneCoin that weren't well thought through, and he actually repackaged that and found ways to all the answers for things that were wrong with OneCoin. He found answers to it and included it in the educational package, which makes people think that you're smart because they are being educated how to deal with these
Yeah.
remarks about it not being a real crypto.
To give that coin some credit though, the other two, you could see if you have an eye for creativity. If you just look at the posters cut out of a person, unmatching background, big diamond title, um, crossed arm pose in a suit. It's a big red flag, feels off. But you gotta give that coin some props on looking pretty legit. Their design, their website, the way they worded things. I think, as you said, they've learned from it and they've packaged it, they beautified it pretty much.
They package it so perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, you almost want to believe it until you get back to the proof of work and the proof of stake. You don't have proof of work. So you don't actually have proof that it's exchangeable for other goods. It's only exchangeable for the good that you're promoting. So it's very centralized. It's not decentralized at all. And I think that's something that people misinterpret because it's really important. Even there are some even so-called decentralized cryptos like Ripple, XRP, which is being promoted as a crypto, where the real crypto community is looking at XRP like that's not decentralized, but at least it's verified as a crypto on Coin Market Cap, on CoinGecko. You can actually get it through exchanges, but for that coin, you can only get it through their own exchange, and so you have to be careful about that. I think what Datcoin did quite well as well is they really looked at use cases. So they connected their technology to things that people would consider, I would use that in regular life. But the question that you would have to ask yourself is, are people actually accepting the coin globally? In what sense are they accepting the coin? And also, I think another thing that they did quite great is that they actually got in Tallinn. We spoke about Tallinn earlier.
Yeah.
They actually
When I was
were a
there, they were
sponsor of
pretty.
the GCI convention, which is really impressive that you were sponsor. That's a really kind of way to legitimize yourself is to sponsor like a GCI convention, which is a really big thing. So that was a smart move from the business wise again.
Yeah, I don't think you can outright, say they're scam, but you have to look
No,
at the fundamentals, because
yeah,
in the end, it's another business person trying to do something, and business is basically the exchange of value. So if you value it, if you can find someone who values what you're offering, it's a legit transaction if you're asking me. But looking at the bigger picture, you have to look at the bigger ecosystem and how it fits in. Can you actually utilize it for more things? They have been around for a few years now, so have there
yeah.
been any
So
major developments since then? Weigh that in.
well, I mean, I'm looking at their website, and the website is beautiful. It's designed for using, not trading. So that's a great way to get out of the whole. Yeah, it's okay. It shouldn't be on an exchange. It shouldn't be listed on CoinMarketCap because it's meant for using and not for trading, which is beautiful. Because at the end of the day, the whole DACon community is gonna decide what the coin is worth. So
Mm.
basically, it's a token. I don't mind it being a token. So if you would say that coin is a coin, it's a token, I wouldn't have anything against it. The thing that I would say is it's not a cryptocurrency. So that's a clear distinction that you would have to make. A token can be anything. It could be an online thing that has you can have a transaction for and it can have value. But that doesn't make it a cryptocurrency. So because there's no ledger around it, there's no blockchain technology that's supporting the system. For all we know, it could be it could just be sheets of numbers and nothing else. So I think that's one of the things that's my main concern. What I mean, it's a beautiful website. I mean, the process, the thought process is well thought out. They're not that big though. It's 500,000 members, which isn't that much. I would thought
It's
Doge
still
has more, has a bigger,
popul-
yeah.
still our
No, but
population.
no, Doge has a much bigger community than that coin. So that's also a thing, and I think also That's why I also said. Um, that's why I also said it's not a scam. That's why I said three MLMs, and it is an MLM. You can do that coin without actually getting other people in. You don't have to do that. So that's also something that they perfected in the system. But basically, it is an LMNM, ML,
MLM.
M. People do profit from bringing others in. Yeah, so Hedwig, the GCI does stand for ethics. That's completely true, but we do want to clarify that it's not that the GCI is promoting that coin. Be clear about it. It's not that they're promoting that coin. Uh,
Yeah,
that
for
coin
some
was a
context,
sponsor. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe you
for
can
some
explain it.
context, during that conference, I was there actually for a JCI conference, and they were a sponsor. I didn't look into it as much back then, but I was kind of skeptical. Okay, what are they doing here? But you know, you sometimes just have to take things as they are and later look at it. And it's the business world. It's you have politics at play on different levels, so you can't really go into that as much. In the end, you're dealing with people, and people are prone to you know making decisions may not always be the best one, but the most informed one at that moment. So
Yeah.
I cannot speak for the
So
organizers.
I mean, accepting the sponsorship. I mean, it's what's wrong with it? Like we just
Yeah.
discussed, we had financial advisors to Surinamese banks who were into OneCoin, very big investors into OneCoin. I mean, it's not very clear. These are all new topics. So for us, maybe if you're in the age group of between 20 and 35, and you've dabbled a little bit and you know how the internet kind of works, you'll try to figure these things out. But if it's something that's really mainstream and broad as this new big thing, then people are very often like, okay, let they want to sponsor, why not let them sponsor? I mean, I made the mistake a couple of times with our events. I mean, had sponsors for my events that I was part of, and after the event, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have made them sponsor.
Mm.
That was not a good move. So those things do happen. Tevin wants to talk about Hive. Tevin, we're not really going to talk about Hive more than we already did today. I think we talked
Yeah.
about it quite a lot. So I think the main thing is, if we're talking about MLMs, just be careful. Uh, you should be able to cash out whenever you want. That's 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 the most important thing for crypto. For me personally, is that you should be able to cash out whenever you want, and also as soon as you see that the guy on top makes more. It's just an MLM, and uh, yeah, if you're in it first and you have like a big network, be really careful, because if you bring other people in, people are gonna remember it, and you don't want to be the person that after 3 to 5 years, people are walking on the street seeing you and be like, that's that person that, like with wallet, people are just plain out disappearing, not responding anymore because they
Especially in
can't
a
keep on
small
the promise.
community such as ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame community. We're very easily ashamed of things. So be transparent, be open about it. Very important. It's weird if you have to pay for a package. Think why you should pay for a package, and if it's real knowledge, actual knowledge, and you feel you want to pay for it, please don't hold back. I mean, it's your choice at the end of the day. But I do feel like we should discuss this topic a little bit, talk about it, and be open about it. And I think we did.
And yeah, I think it's good we mention it now because there's another wave hitting right now, and I expect uh, a few of these to pop up within
Yeah,
the next months. So just be wary of what's going on.
yeah.